size and the compactness. But then we still have goat skin, which is not a globally available material. You would have seen it is more of a tropical, and I mean, this especially from China, India, and Africa, Asia and Africa. These are the places where, I mean, we have. The glaze kit demands a water-based finishing technique with a serious limitations of fastness. So here is the challenge. Leapfrog innovations are necessary. And at the same time, I mean, the standards to be met, because that's a market-driven one where the glaze kit relies on high and medium quality raw materials, gaining value. So while we talk about the kit leathers on a high and medium, that means there is still a significant quantity of leathers which are there at the medium range or the low quality. That is where the challenge lies. And of course, with a lot of grain damaged ones, predominantly going for suedes, I think you would know the demand for suede, though it might be of a constant one. But again, I mean, we may not be pushing it in terms of, I mean, fashion trends and other things every time suede. Probably we need innovative ways of finishing even the suedes, or even like corrected grain for your cattle hides. So can we have something of that kind even for coat skins, which may pave way for innovative, I mean, leathers. And these are the kind of physical properties or the chemical properties that are needed, especially for some of these skins, I mean, especially the glaze kits, what they talk about. And I thought, I mean, even in process strategies for goat-based leathers, there are certain innovations, or I mean, this is the trend, I mean, that's how, I mean, we go about it. But we can also look at, I mean, certainly, especially since it is a small and medium sized. So we need to look at, I mean, how best, I mean, we would make use of this. And especially in pre-tanning, what kind of liming, I mean, what there's a spelling mistake, pardon me for that. And even tanning and chromium and vegetable, or that even though there are predominantly now people are looking for mineral free, obviously we have to look for. And another significant area where we need to focus is wet finishing and of course finishing. And I think with these few words, I make this, I mean, a panel discussion open now, and may I now request Sri Shafiq to start your, I mean, views, so that we can still go for our other panelists, and each of us could go for at least about 6 to 7 minutes of our presentations, and subsequently we can come for a second round. I mean, where, I mean, we could still discuss something. With these few words, I once again thank you, everyone. Thank you. Mr. Shafiq, sir.
Hello, I'm visible and laudable.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Because I lost the Zoom for a minute, so I got scared. Thank you for the introduction. And first of all, I would like to congratulate each and everyone who is working on this technology day keenly, and in order to bring in any newer technology which could help the entire fraternity or the industry. And it is a national interest, basically. Today, major GDPs of the nations are run by technology. Newer technology, proper technology are the national backbones. And we have selected the goat skin to bring it as today's discussion. And into innovation or into the newer technology based on its own availability, based on its national as a national what you call capacity to handle this. Let me put the numbers right perspective for us to all to focus here. Everybody's listening me, Doctor? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the goat skin, I just want to focus on the goat skin numbers. The last number I had from the national survey is about 150 million heads, which is 40%, nearly 40% of the animal population. 150 million heads. And today, what doctor you presented, production is only 10%, national average. The production is only 10% but. And the exports in India, if you say, also is 48% only. So there's a lot of lacuna between availability of goat skin as a national property that's entirely available all over the country. And it has qualitatively the best goat skin we have. Also, we have the lowest and the worst goat skin also we have in the world. And quantity-wise, the numbers are huge, 150 million. But what is being production is only just a 10% of that, and in the average, national average, and exports are very less. Hence, our focus has to see why we are not able to utilize the goat skin to the national and international demands. That is the main reason why we would like to have to focus on this. This has been my focus for the last 10 years. I have been arguing that goat skin has to be brought to the forefront. We are working on imported leathers more than our own leathers, and goat skins are getting slaughtered. The goat is reared, the animal goat is reared only for meat. It's not reared for wool. It is not reared for farming or anything else. Goats are only grown and farmed for meat. So we have to completely utilize the skin today. So according to my survey, goat skin has been completely underutilized. My argument has been this is falling and is getting into accumulations and throwing out, which is exactly what has happened. People are burying it. Sometimes the goat skin prices are cheaper than the transport cost today. Somebody can offer a goat skin, but the transport is more than the goat skin. Inside some type of goat skin, not everything, because we have the best and we have the worst in India. So I would like to open the discussion today about how we could bring the goat skin to forefront, and we can add value, which will add to the national interest and the interest of everyone who is involved in the chain, right from the farmer to the tanner to the exporter or everyone. So I would like to take this into three segments, if Doctor agrees, to discuss on the same topic. Three segments are: one is the process, or where are we lagging in the process? Are we doing the right process globally? What is required for? The number two is the promotion, how we can promote our goat skin, our skins, what we make in India, how we can promote. Process, promotion, and policy. The PPP, if we can focus, this is an Indian context. I'm talking about the Indian context because the Italian may not be doing this. The French tanneries will not be doing this. From the Indian context, we have to check our processes, how we can go through this, the promotion, what we can do, and the policy. If these three P's can be set in properly, worked on that, and we could bring this whole availability of this 150 million heads of goat skin, how we can bring it to the forefront to be used nationally and globally as a fashion product. Further going through that, I will give you small notes on what can be. I will just take two more minutes. How can this be, three P's can be further transferred, further broken into and discussed upon. The promotion part is nothing but today's value chain and the retail value. If you get a product to the retail value, you are successful. If there is no retail value for that product, it can be a bamboo viscose, or it can be the best cotton. If it doesn't have a retail value, you are gone. It's a waste. The whole chain collapses. So how to bring it to the retail value is the promotion we should look for. Policy has to be focused on this 150 million pieces. We don't want to be caught. The goat skin need not be caught in a general policy of somebody importing or not importing, not available. Cow sites are not available to be exported. It cannot be exported, but goat skin is totally available. So the policy, I'm just giving a line of each topic. The policy has to be adopted for goat skin because of the availability, nationally huge availability. And the promotion, I said, we had to build the retail value, how to get the retail value for the leather. Lastly, but our own paradigm, our own area is process. We have to set the process for the end product, which we work. You are working. We are working as a tannery. The end products. What are the end products? You just said it is so versatile. The goat skin is so versatile. It is usable for all products almost. Everything can be made out of goat skin. So end product for suitable to the retail value, building up the retail value, and taking the policy measures for the goat skin specifically has to be looked upon. Something which we have to talk about. I think this is, if you are acceptable, I'm just want to put it in this 3P format, which is what my focus has been. I will stop it here. If you want me to join later, I can also always join you. Thank you.
Thank you. Definitely, after hearing the other panelists, you could still come back. Then we can look at. Thank you, Mr. Shafiq. Now let me invite Mr. Rehan Ahmed, NJ experts, to offer his remarks, keeping some of the views expressed by Mr. Shafiq, to highlight on currently where we are, and obviously we all know the gap now, and what could be done, and probably your expertise, Mr. Rehan Ahmed, please. You can unmute and then speak, Mr. Rehan Ahmed.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
We can't hear you. Thank you. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Hi. Yeah, I heard Shafiq Bhai very well. I think is on the point that the 3 Ps are very important. The development of the product of the goat skin, the promotion, and marketing. And we need great cooperation from CLRI to develop this in the eastern region of Calcutta. But yeah. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Mr. Rahman.
Yeah. The thing is that the process that CLRI has to help us in developing these things, the process, the right kind of process with the right technology, and the CLE has to be there for the promotion. I know it's always there, but we need to develop a little bit more so that the goat skin raw material can be utilized in a better way, and we can promote our raw material to the world market in a better way. Hello,
Mr. Rahman.
Yeah.
Currently, could you tell, your expertise, and then what is that, you face as challenges, in terms of availability or overpiling your stocks, something of that kind, especially in the eastern sector.
At the moment, the raw material availability is not a problem. The thing is, from the eastern region, what we face is the lacking of the technology support and the marketing part. Marketing, of course, we are doing it, we are there, but the technology support is also very important.
Yeah, I do agree. Yes, definitely. The challenge lies now, especially when people develop, say, sheep-based uppers like Cabretta, trying to impart certain kind of stiffness to a much softer material like sheep. But here we have a material which has an intrinsic strength on its own goat. But only thing what we may probably require is, especially the finish, and make a surface which is rather smooth. That's a challenge, especially in goat. And also trying to make it little bit smoother, softer as well. So that, it could still meet something of demand like Cabretta kind of thing. Maybe a special type of goat upper. Where we could, why I still keep talking about upper is because the 50% of the requirement of hides and skins is for footwear manufacture.
For footwear, yes.
So, in my opinion, if you could address our processing innovations and the finishing innovations to meet the demands of footwear sector, I think we would have probably reached out to. Why I still talk about footwear, because that's a product that is being consumed at least annually replenished.
Yes,
It's in
yes.
constant demand. So that is where, and if we could, strategize some of our, innovations. Yes, I do agree on that point. And thank you, Mr. Rahman. Probably we will hear from one of the down south. At least from Trichy, Mr.
Yes,
Mohan
yeah.
Kumar.
This is what we are
Prime
facing.
Canary.
This is what we are facing in Calcutta, in the eastern regions. We need your kind support.
Sure. So we will definitely look at it. Mr. Mohan Kumar, your views, please.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to all. Sir, our cannery is in Trichy region. It's famous for only EA tanning, but there is no market for EA tanned goods. Only the top selection is going. All other materials are keeping stock in the pyramid market. So we have developed, and I want to develop a new technology, and we have developed a chrome-free tannage for sweats, lining, and upper. But in India, we don't have the technology. Due to my friend in abroad, we got the technology and we have developed it for lining, excellent lining. Just it's chrome-free lining is like a fulcrum lining, no looseness. And we have market still in the pandemic period. Also, we have good market. We are doing productions. So if you have to stay in the market, you have to develop a new product. You cannot stay the old product like glazed mill, semi-chrome lining, fulcrum lining, and everything. Now the market is only for chrome free. Even in children's shoes, they are making only chrome free lining. In sheep also, very low grade material we have developed into an excellent article. So my trend is we have to stay in the market, means you have to develop new articles just like chrome free articles. That's all, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mohan. As you rightly said, another challenge that lies, especially for the South, it is not the same as the challenge, what our Bengal friends are talking about is the EA, which is probably very unique, especially in the regions in South, in the Tamil Nadu. Yeah, it's a challenge, but at the same time, and we have a tremendous opportunity because EA already a wedge-based. So from there, to take it to a totally mineral-free, if the demand is for mineral-free, is pretty high. And we need to develop certain technologies, especially from EA. How do we go about it? And also, most of the EA leathers, in my opinion, are medium and lower grade leathers, which are being processed as EA, because most of the top quality leathers, for clay skid and all, might still go with, of course, both with equally importantly with the EA as well as chrome tan leathers. And this is where one of the challenge, as you rightly said, not just for the upper leather, but as a lining leathers, because lining leather requirements in terms of physical and chemical characteristics, they are on par with, the requirements are on par with upper leathers. So that's a challenge. That's where we could still meet, and many times your upper leather could be of chrome tan or whatever it is, but still some of the product manufacturers demand their lining, which is in contact with our skin, to be a mineral free, a chrome free. So that's where an opportunity, an innovative way of making our processes so that my lining, how do I enhance the marketability of my lining leathers? And I think Mr. Mohan Kumar is leading the way, by making mineral free lining leathers, which he says still even during this pandemic pandemic time, and he has tremendous opportunity to market those things, provided you meet the global requirements. Thank you, Mr. Mohan. I think now let me again go back to our Eastern friend, Mr. Zian Hafiz. Your views on what is that we propose, Mr. Zian.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I welcome everyone on this National Technology Day, and good to see Mr. Chandrasekharan after a long time, and it's a great day and good to, and again thank you so much to select goat leather on this auspicious National Technology Day. See, the 2-3 important things which Mr. Shafiq, Mr. Rian all mentioned. The most important thing which I personally feel right now is goat skin as Mr. Shafiq said, it's surplus in the country, and it's goat is slaughtered for meat, and leather is a byproduct, and everything that's all is there. And Calcutta, Eastern region, Bengal, we get leather from all over the country. I still feel for the upper end of leather, the tight grain Bengal leather, good for upper, means for shoe upper or tumbled leather or whatever, means still we have got a lot of products for on that sector. But the problem lies on the lower end of goat skin, which we get from Bihar, from Jharkhand, from Maharashtra, from Punjab, all over the place, which was used for lining in the past. Now the lining is mostly changed into synthetic lining all over the world. And as Mr. Shafiq rightly said, the transportation cost is more than the cost of the leather at present. What I am trying to do from I want to share my personal experience, what I'm trying to do from last 15, 16 months is, and I'm been quite successful in doing that also. I've been targeting the US market right now and converting all the lower end leather into leather product, means making mill leather and making small leather goods out of it. And the US market is quite, I'll not say it's booming, but it's doing quite well. So I can use that leather mostly into that small leather goods sector. As far as the higher end leather is concerned, glazed leather still is in fashion, but I still think promotions need to be done. As Mr. Shafiq rightly said, we need to do something more, because see, the demand, the scarcity of higher end cow leather is still there in the country. So this is a great opportunity to promote our higher end goat skin into that segment, because we still have higher end goat, the kid leather still is there in the market, available with us in a huge quantity, but still there is a big there's a gap somewhere where which with the help of CLRI, CLE, with promotion, we have to get into that segment, because always we used to hear the goat is thin, means the substance was always a problem. But now with technology, in tumbled leather, we are going up to 1213 also, 1214 also in tumbled leather. We are making a lot of bags and bag leather, and for shoes also we are making tumbled leather. And 0.91 is quite a easily achievable target right now for us. Even right now, I'm making some portfolios for the American market in big quantity. I'm making from goat leather from size from 4 to 6 and getting substance about 1 mm. And it's all lower end leather. Like Mr. Chandrasekharan, you were mentioning about corrected grain leather. So I'm making it out, I'm printing those leather. I'm like a PDM, cow PDM. So it is possible. Means, few years back, it was a mystery to make portfolios out of goat leather, because always to make portfolios, you used to think buff leather or cow leather. So we have to change this concept. Means the mindset has to be completely changed, and it has to be, means we have to convert our, means we have to change our mindset from shoes to other segments as well. Means that segment is bags and wallets, portfolios. For shoes, definitely, because the tightness of the grain, to make glazed leather, to make all the upper leather, we need your help for technologies. We need the promotion as marketing. That has always been there. We have been organizing so many fairs and all. Due to the pandemic, everything has been on a halt from last 1.5 years. But that much cannot be done about that, because lives are more important than business for sure. But I personally think that you all should, as far as CLRI is concerned, you should come forward and try to help us develop this goat leather in other segments. Like garments are mostly made out of sheep. Whenever you talk to a garment manufacturer, they talk about sheep. Why can't we develop goat leather into a good soft leather for sheep, like giving a sheep look, that we can convert, means our some stock into the garment segment as well. A very small segment of leather is used for garments. Now, industrial gloves. The absolute lower range we are using for industrial gloves in Calcutta. And the lower end is quite a big volume. It's not a small volume. But again, there is a big, there's a difference in thought process, because industrial gloves is made out of cow and buffalo. The gloves manufacturer doesn't want to buy goat leather. How can we do that? We have to increase the substance. We don't use symptoms to make gloving leather. But I personally feel there should be some technology from where we can improve the substance of the lower end goat leather, and we can convert into for the glove segments. Because in Calcutta, still industrial gloves segment is doing quite well. It's a big market. So the only problem is because of the substance issue in the lower end, we are unable to use this leather for the glove segment. Before we were not doing this because the price of goat was high. But now as the prices of the goat skin has come down, this is a big opportunity for us to convert this absolute lower end and into the glove segment. Some fashion gloves are definitely made out of goat leather because Russian times used to do a lot of gloving leather for Russia. But that's still, I think many people in Ambur and Ranipet are making some fashion gloves out of goat leather as well. But I'm talking about industrial gloves where the usage of cow and buffalo is in big volume. So these are some suggestions from my end, and I will really look forward CLRI to come forward, sit with us and help us out in this time that this huge stock which is lying idle, this huge revenue which is lying idle with everyone should be utilized. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time, and I think we'll join later as well. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Zian Hafiz. Excellent views, especially, and you are trying to throw lights on like finishing techniques like corrective grain. Where the challenge definitely lies. How do I make my goat skin softer so that I could get my PDM? So that's a challenge. A PDM kind of leathers. Like what we make in cow. The same way, yes. And there is also, you still highlighted whatever little quantity, whether it is for the garment, where the challenge is to make my leathers softer so that, it could still find certain applications, especially the biker jackets and all, where, some segment of garment, sports and, biker jackets, I think still predominantly they are made out of cow and goat as well. Gloves, especially the industrial gloves. Yeah, that is one area where we can still focus on especially utilizing the lower ends, where we could improve the substance. So that's a challenge. Definitely, these are certain points to be looked at by our scientist community from CLRI to offer you solutions. I'm sure we can at the end of the session we can even try to highlight some of the points through which we can even take an agenda of how way forward. How do we go about it? With these few words, thank you once again, Mr. Zia. Now let me invite Mr. K. Venkatesan of Gemini Enterprises. Where I think they are also making garment as a finished product. His views, especially on utilizing goat. Mr. Venkatesan, please.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Happy morning to everybody. Chandru sir, Shafiq sir, Dr. Ravindran, Raghav sir, and all the panelists, and also the participants, Really, the time where all the negativity has creeped into our mind, and now one positive thing is happening, and we have an opportunity to speak about our industry and the way forward. It is a very nice, great feeling. I pray the Almighty that everybody should be healthy, wealthy, loving, peaceful, and spiritual. Thank you once again to everybody. So today my perspective is totally based on garment industry. So rightly, Mr. Zia sir told everything about it, what are the constraints we are going through it. So just I want to have one small presentation so that I can explain to you. It won't take much time. So may I share screen, sir? So the screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So now the topic is the future trends and the technology, commercial advancements for goat leather. See, generally in garment industry, if you see, all these goat skins mainly consumed by suede producers for garments. So you all know very well, like origins like Tiruchengood from South Tamil Nadu, Meerut from Maharashtra, Solapur from Maharashtra are very much, they make sweats, as 80 to 90% of grading is very much suitable for it. And also you all very well know that India is the #1 producer of shoe suede and both, garment suede production, both in quality as well as quantity. So still we make a lot of suede production, and our company is also making a lot of suedes and exporting to various European countries. But if you see for grain purpose, generally Indian goat raw material has certain limitations. So which everybody know. The first limitation is between, the size is always between maximum of 3 square feet to 6 square feet. So you all know, like when we make garments, we need, particularly when we make men garments, the panels are very, very big, and then we can't accommodate a smaller size material, which is one certain limitation. And raw material with good thickness. If you see, it's always being used by the shoe industry and leather goods industry. And the lesser quantities only are available with the higher thickness for the garment industry. So this is one major constraint for the garment industry. Even the lower ones consumed, the selection wise, the lower ones are consumed by the lining production. So the volume purchase with the higher thickness raw material in goat, particularly with the Indian origin, as of now is very difficult. So this is one of the major constraints. And also if you see the grading blemishes, so grading like with a lot of like a scratch marks, something like that, and then monsoon pattern varies within the country. Sometimes when like when heavy raining is there in some part of time, in some other part of the country is so much tropical, so that we are not able to have a good selection material throughout the year. So this is one major constraint. So we have only less volume of good quality material and also the lower grade materials. And also, as I mentioned, garment industry requires very big panels, especially for men garments. To meet the fashion needs, we always require a good thickness material, but always this good thickness material goes into the upper sector. So, but origins like Kashmir, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and Punjab are quite big in size, maybe 5 to 6 square feet on average. And also they have a good grain pattern, which is suitable for garments. But finding again a good thickness material in value is again a challenge. And then, as you mentioned, mainly these goat skins are used for upper, lining, and small goods due to the compactness and strength of the materials, which these industries can accommodate. Smaller and medium-sized panels, and see, they can pay a better price, so that the higher thickness materials, basically for garment industry to buy those higher thickness materials is very difficult, because the upper industry and the leather goods industry can pay a better price than the garment manufacturer. This is another constraint. So as I mentioned, again, higher thickness skins go on with mainly upper industry, but the less thickness skins cannot meet the requirements of the garment industry. And then again, if you see consistent quantity and quality, due to the lack of bigger volume, constraint to compare to imported raw materials like African, like Kenya, Uganda, and Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, Syrian origins, where you can get the higher thickness materials and also you can buy value material. So that is the reason, generally, if you look at other than the suede production, for garment people, getting, because of these constraints, getting Indian origin and making a garment is always a very big challenge. So see how I want to discuss it, what is the current situation and what is the way forward. So now what is the way forward, both technically and commercially? See, basically we need larger farmhouses that control the welfare of animals, so that it gives you both quality and quantity of the materials. And also if you look at it, large scale abattoirs also to be encouraged, particularly in case of goat. And then many collection points with the proper temperature control to enhance the raw skin value, that is also to be encouraged. And then today, if you see, this traceability and the certification are going to be the major international brands requirements. So Indian certification, unlike LWG, is very crucial. Now almost the imported raw materials, most of the the sellers have already got this kind of certification. So when we do for very big brands, these brands particularly require all these kind of requirements, which sometimes our Indian producers are not able to fulfill it. And then, like Mr. Zia sir mentioned, producing lightweight leathers with the same pliability, softness, like sheepskin is the main challenge technically. See, but see, like, in our Gemini Enterprises, in our company, we make a lot of lightweight leathers, using a lot of various process technologies. And the main challenge is, if you take goat, you all know very well that in order to make a softness, in order to bring inner softness, sometimes you need to use lecithin, lanolin, all these kind of fat liquors, fish oils, something like this. But the challenge is, when you use those kind of fat liquors, naturally it adds weight to the material. So it is always a great challenge for the technician. You have to bring the softness like sheep, and also you have to make the lightweight leather. This is a big challenge, but also we are doing. But another main part is, we are doing a lot of these washed articles. These are all some of the trends which is already there, and also we are enhancing for the future also, so that it attracts more customers. Basically, we do a lot of washed articles. The advantage of washed articles, even when you take lesser thick skins, as I mentioned to you, the very, very good thickness skins are not that much available for the garment industry. When you take even the lesser thickness, the raw material, when you do these kind of washed articles, normally it tends to improve the thickness. So one way you can compensate for this thickness problem, and then you can make a lot of washed articles, which we do in our company. We do a lot of oily nubucks, and then lightweight nappa, printer articles, foil articles, and semi-snuffed articles, which can all go for the garment industry. Must be encouraged. We are doing, and also all people have started doing it, but still we can have even more good production in this aspect. And then there is another thing, like many people want like sheep. So, but we need to break this pattern, and we have to preserve the uniqueness of the goat. See, goat as such has got uniqueness. We have to promote the uniqueness of the goat. The uniqueness of the goat is got a bigger grind. It has got a rugged look. It is very much suitable for the biker jackets. It is very much suitable for the coats. So those kind of the men garments. So you have to preserve the uniqueness of the goat. At the same time, you have to bring little more softness and enhance its pliability and present it to the buyer. It will gain a lot of value for the goat skins. This is one observation what we made, and we are also doing those kind of, especially with preserving this uniqueness of the goat. We are making so much of articles, and it gains a lot of attention from the buyers. And the one very important point is the breaking the perception battle. This is very much a problematic area. See, all the brands, international brands, they have one perception. Like, in the tanners also have some perception about the chemical companies and all, like this particular chemical company is suitable for upper production. This is more suitable for the garment production. This is more suitable for aniline finish, something like that. We also have perception, but though all the chemical companies have almost all the chemical products, the same perception, even the brands, international brands is also having. See, their perception is, we cannot make good lightweight material suitable for garments from the goat skin. This is the perception all the brands is going through mostly. So we have to develop a sheep-like goat garment and to present it. This is the biggest challenge for the technical people. So we have to do a lot of process innovations, process technologies to adapt to this, so that we can break this perception battle and we can promote the goat skins. And also producing biodegradable, sustainable, and eco-friendly leathers and commercializing them for a higher value. See, in our company, we are specialists in making mineral-free, chrome-free leather garment, particularly using the technology called wet green. See, we are using olive leaves, raw material as a chemical, and then we do the tanning, and we make a chrome-free and mineral-free tanning, which is very popular in Europe, and they have started selling it with a brand called Olive and Leather, which is very popular. And we tried it in suede also as a new innovation. We tried it in suede also, and we are making now this same Olive and Leather in suede and producing it to all of the various customers, which is now is totally encouraged by them, and it is really a way forward. And we are making those kind of articles. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for giving me an opportunity. So wherever possible, as a technical people, we will try to promote good GOAT articles, so that enhancing the commercial value and also the technical value. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Venkatesan, for highlighting almost all the what we call, the limitations of GOAT, or even the advantages, highlighting the advantages of GOAT as well. And there are, yes, technical challenges, as it has been pointed out by many of our panelists. Yes, softness like sheep, at the same time, thickness much better. As good as your cow or something like that. That's what the substance is. The challenge lies, and this is where even in the process, especially the liming and other places, people even try to look at the kind of swelling that happens, especially some kind of lytropic swelling and some of those things, which will enhance the interfibrillary adhesions, so that we would be able to make leathers with a lot more fluffiness, which would enhance. And of course, as you rightly said, the choice of fat liquors do play a very important role. And in fact, I forgot to mention that we have been talking about process innovation or finishing innovation, Tanner's point of view, or in terms of fashion, trend, and all those things. But almost with everything at the background, we have our chemical houses. The role of the chemical houses working in tandem with the industries as well as the research organization to come out. This is what our long-term vision, especially to setting up a center for excellence for converting many of our underutilized raw materials, which could be made acceptable, a marketable one, with a lot of innovations in processes, in finishes, where equally the scientific community, the industry, and the chemical houses, all three have to work together towards that. And your presentation definitely would make way forward to that. And now may I request Mr. Abdul Rauf of Star Exports to offer his remarks.
So can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Respected panelists, a very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank CLRI for inviting me to the panel discussion on the topic. Since I'm the last speaker, most of the points have been covered, and it is always very difficult to start when you are in the last part of any panel discussion. Anyway, I try my best to cover some of the points. I would keep my discussion more on the shoes, because our tannery and my expertise are all in shoe uppers. So unlike Mr. Venkatesh or Mr. Zia, who had been on the glove and garment sector, I would like to focus on the shoe upper in goat leather. So I would also like to do a small presentation whereby I would like to cover most of the points and what are the things we can look forward to take this goat leather back to its old glory when Glaze Kit was running. So I'll just share a small screenshot. So is the screen clear to everybody?
Clear. You can make it as a full screen mode. No?
Yeah,
there is a presentation mode. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now just going back, I'm more focusing on the upper leather. So a brief history in last 2 decades. So in 2000, or from 95 to 2005, Glaze Kit was one of the major source of export from India, and also from EI it was glaze milled and some quantity of suedes. But of late, after 2005 or say after 2007, the shift of the fashion shift has been from more formal classic shoes to comfort and casual shoes. So this has taken a big beat in this classic leathers. So designers were focusing more classic and soft and supple leather. And in fact, the major brands which were promoting these pump shoes and classic shoes were out of market, or they also had to change to the needs of the fashion. So then coming back, what has happened over the period? So actually what happened was the designers around the world, mostly these people are non-leather peoples, they compare the leather with synthetic. So they always want it very softer, flexible. So the natural choice was like sheep and cow only. But in spite of all this, because of some articles which were more pliable, suedes, oily suedes, foil with suedes were to some extent took over the glaze kid fall. Of course, nubuck, wax-based, tumble articles, and lining. Recently, there's a big demand for chrome-free and sustainable leather. In this aspect, we need to really work on this leather. Coming back to one point which many people were telling, like Shafiq Saab was telling about the TPP and other things. The main problem to get a very supple and soft leather arises from the slaughtering itself. The slaughtering house in India, especially for cow or goat, is very, very unorganized. Many times we get the skins which are dried in one single pack. Some leathers are dried, some are more. So whatever uniformity we try to make, this is not happen. That's why in goat, it's very difficult to get that suppleness and softness. If you get fresh skins consistently, and if the slaughtering house is monitored, then definitely there's a scope for improvement in the softer and flexible leather. So moving forward, during this transition period from glaze kit to other articles, there are many pitfalls in goat manufacturing sector which industry faced. See, if you consider the main development house or R&D of products, all are located in Italy and Europe. These labs actually work in tandem with the designers. So if you see there, these labs are nowadays, when we visit them, you see them having filled with cow and sheep from all over the world, but goat skins are not available with them. So there is hardly any chance for the goat skins for them to develop and present it to the designers, thereby the trend comes back. In this case, CSIR and CLRI should think of tying up with the labs and opening up the Indian raw material to the world in order to bring back the trend in the goat. So this is a policy decision, but I would like to put forward, say 50 years back, India took a big step not to export semi-finished leather. That was a really good step, and it was considered one of the main policy for the growth now. But now the time has come to reconsider that that part, because we need to make the raw material available to the global market, where designers or product development cell make the product from the goat skins. See, goat, we boast that goat is the second largest raw material available in the world, but raw material source alone is not considered an advantage for a country if there is no assessment, if there is no global availability of the skins to the world market. So this has to be considered very important, because development starts in Europe and Italy. And that will be a big step forward if materials are made available to them. Again, now at present, most of the goat leather is used as a cheaper option only. The classics are dominated by cow and sheep. So in order to focus, we need, again, I would like to reiterate, we have to make this material available for the development purpose. And going to the future trends, nowadays people follow the celebrities for the fashion trends. So based on the fashion, goat shoe uppers have been evolved. So in this case, if you see, still suedes and nubucks will be in big fashion, but again, foils foils is in a big, big way, where you can use it on the suedes and also in the grain side. This has come up in a big way, and it is a fashion industry with small volume where you can use the lower ends. Most of the people were telling about how to use the lower ends. This is a one area where you can try the lower ends and it helps a lot. And since the grain is knocked off, automatically the softness of the material is got like sheep or cow. Going further, metallics are in big fashion. Some prints like cut prints, new innovation, aluminum based prints. This print actually does not make the leather very hard, unlike the conventional prints, which makes a leather very firm and stiff. So even it can be applied on small skins, but of course we need a fair amount of thickness, like 9/1 minimum, for the plating to work very well. So this print, especially cut prints, has a very good advantage to retain the softness of the material. So this is an aspect where, because goat leather normally we are finding it difficult to use in many places because of the inherent character, it is not very soft and other things. But with these prints, the leather, even hard leather, will become a little bit softer after the printing because it cuts the grain layers. So again, how to enhance the products which are available. Generally, if you see, chrome leather is being criticized for their environmental impact. So moving on, eco-friendly leathers are the best one. So, but it comes with a limitation. Eco-friendly is chrome-free, metal-free, sustainable leathers. So in chrome-free, the main problem is we need to match the same cost of production as that of chrome, because buyers are not ready to spend extra money. They want chrome-free or eco leather at the same price of chrome leather. Another major concern is, since I'm talking about keeping my discussion to the shoe, we are not able to achieve more than 80 to 85 degrees shrinkage temperature, whereas chrome has 100 degrees. So this is where we would like CLRI to work on it to cater to the needs of the shoe industry. And again, of course, softness, flexibility, all takes a major hit, though now there are some fat liquors and other things which are making it flexible, but it's always a challenge. Light fastness is a major challenge in chrome-free leathers. So these are all a major challenge which we need to address. And one more important thing is as of my experience, the main product used in these chrome-free is glutaraldehyde. Again, this has the very nearest softness compared to other chrome-free tannage. But again, due to its toxicity, it will be phased out in 3 to 4 years. So we need to find another alternatives like sulfones or zeolite. But all these are in very early stage of R&D, which needs to be addressed. And last important thing is, chrome-free or metal-free cannot be versatilely stored like chrome. It has to be consumed very frequently. But to be honest, chrome-free leathers demand is very, very high. And finally, I would like to sum up my whole thing is, definitely technology will play a major role. We need to set up a design lab in collaboration with the labs abroad and work forward. Then there should be, of course, subsidies or drawbacks on chrome-free leathers on board, because like you see in this pandemic period, the chemical imports, the euro has gone up, and there is a shortage of chemicals. The prices have shot up by 15% or more. So government has to also take view of this and consider some concession for the tanneries. And one more thing is, I would like to reiterate, not that I'm pushing this. This is what we find with since we are working with many brands and in Vietnam and other places, they would like to have the crest leather, because if you see, many shoes are made on crest and they are finished on the shoes. So unless the availability of crest is with the shoe factory or in the country where it is made, to take forward our goat will be a difficult challenge. That's why I'm telling it again, so that it is an opportunity which India should not miss out, being a second largest raw material source in the world. You can see the big opportunities what South American countries have done. They've been exporting cow crust hide to India and other countries all over the world for them. So this is a thing which we need to take from the positive things which we need to take in order to improve our goat share in the global market. With this, I conclude. I thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Rauf. Thank you. Mr. Shafiq, are you around? You have heard almost the entire cross-section of our nation's expert panels, who have given, would you like to give your remarks? Mr. Shafiq, sir?
Yes, Doctor, I'm hearable.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like also your colleagues in CLRI to say a few comments on this. We will be happy to hear them out also. Can you please invite few of them, any of them, to say a few things on their mind, what is coming up on their mind, what they think about? Shall we invite Doctor on with your?
Yeah, sure. Dr. Rao, Mr.
Please,
Sadiq, and other colleagues, who are there.
Yeah, we would like to hear them out, because today is their day. Actually, we are guests. They have to say what they think about this whole thing, what is going on.
Yes.
Can you please invite any of them to say a few words, Doctor?
Yeah, sure. Dr. Rao, any suggestions? Anyone, who wants to give their, feedback, especially after hearing the industry's views by our colleagues?
Dr. Rao speaking. I think, it was a wonderful session, and where, the benefits and the disadvantages of the goat being a material for different end products has been highlighted by all the speakers. And then most of the cases we could see, the challenge lies more on the technology and then promotion of the product. So I think from technological point of view, I think the CLRI has done some studies on developing, a sheep-like character stick grain pattern on the goat skins. Probably we will look at it, have a collaboration with the speakers where, the people are looking at the goat skins. Maybe we can do some trials, collaborate with them, start doing something together, so that we can try to develop, a material sheep-like characteristic grain on the goat skins. And particularly in the Calcutta Point region, I think now our regional center is fully equipped with good manpower, wherein we have leather technologists and chemists put in there. I think we are looking, CLRI from our side, we are looking forward to see that, we move very close to the industry, and the gap needs to be reduced, and then we look forward to really transform the technologies available with us on this particular goat, particularly, after having brainstorming on this raw material product, we service the product. So we look forward to see that the CLRI will really take forward to see that new technological interventions can be made to develop a good product mix from the goat, so that, the visibility of the goat as a material for different products can be looked at.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Dr. Rao. I think, I thought, I would sum up some of the points, discussed here, especially since we had a panel comprising almost every, part of, the leather products that is being addressed, like, our Eastern region colleagues, who highlighted about, using them apart from the shoe upper leathers, say for leather goods and for even for industrial gloves and other purposes. The same way, our friends from South, who were specialized in garment, especially Mr. Venkatesan and all, highlighted about the challenges that lies for utilizing goat as a garment leather, and everywhere. It is the feel, the softness and the pliability, and even in footwear, and the kind of fluffiness or the softness and the feel that one would get from, say, from cow and sheep. I mean, the same kind of a feel is expected. That is what highlighted by our, goat specialist for footwear as well, Mr. Rauf highlighted about, the challenges even for footwear and other things. The trends are out now. Going even when we talk about lightweight leathers and all. Yes, the tumbled one, which is trying to enforce, or make the fibers split up more. After finishing, especially probably trying to incorporate more of air pockets and thereby enhancing the substance. Substance, when we talk about, it is not truly adding weight to your material, but of course making the voids little more air vapor permeability. That makes the leather a lighter weight, improved substance, rather the apparent thickness, whatever we call it. So that is one way of innovative way of making especially the tumble wash or a tumble finish. That makes it. And similar challenges might occur. People would look at innovative technologies, especially we call the polyurethane. Probably they are one of the versatile chemical that is being used. You can make a totally hydrophobic or a kind of a solvent based polyurethane based chemicals, and there is an aqueous based. If you want, it is amenable to all. And we also have technologies, especially where some of these materials in terms of what we call in the monomeric or a kind of a form, you incorporate, and when you allow it to polymerize, so thereby enhancing what you call incorporating more of air bubbles. That's how the polyurethane foams in themselves are manufactured. And you would see a lot of air pockets that is being created that makes them the foams. And even a similar kind of one, a chemical treatment wherein you treat your hides and skins.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can all hear you,
yeah.
doctor. Somebody has to mute. That's all.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So what we thought is, even certain innovations in chemicals, wherein after treatment, if that can make my leather more fluffier, that would address some of the challenges, especially this and all. Even some of the cementing substances that make the grain a little more harder or firmer. And if some of those substances could be removed during processes, and whether that would make my goat skin, though the finish is unique, but the feel and other things, if we can do, there's a lot of challenges. And it comes back to the same, almost, out of the 6, 3 or 4 panelists highlighted about the joint work of, CLRI, CLE, and the industry to set up some kind of a center of excellence where, new products, new materials that could be developed, of course, with a little bit of, the work, from even the chemical houses. And nowadays, even someone was talking about the policies of, allowing some of the material to be exported so that it is made available for the global community to make these leathers, with a more innovative finishes and all. These are certain things, as it was highlighted by Mr. Shafiq, the policy changes. I'm sure, this government is looking towards such policy changes as well. And slowly, probably a day will come and even your raw hides themselves could be exported. At the same way, you can even import several other materials. A day, some of those days are not far off. That's what I should say. And many of these things, as long as they don't affect our what we call our social impact of providing employment and all those things. If those things are protected, the government should be free in liberalizing many of these policies over the years. They have done something, and which is also possible. But in my opinion, as an institution, setting up a way forward is how do we utilize many or most part of our underutilized segment of goat leathers. And when we talk about it, there are, definitely, such underutilization or of leathers from every part of, whether it is even from cow or even some sheep-based ones. And these challenges are there. And our challenges, in fact, while we are talking about the challenges for Indian community, when now that we are free to even import materials from other parts, the general trend would be to look and attract, some of the high top grade qualities, especially like from the Mediterranean region, like Iraq, Iran, and other regions. But sure, the goat skins and other raw materials are available in large quantity, say in African continent, which requires a lot of improvement, especially even their rawhide and skins themselves are of very poor quality, especially in Africa. And even if those materials, if only we have technologies of upgrading many of the lower ends, I think we can even get some of these African materials themselves and add value to them, so that we improve upon our capabilities. With these few words, I once again thank. It was more rewarding for me after a long gap. I'm able to interact with many of our industry experts, especially on a subject of importance to our national importance of our material, the goat, how best we can utilize them. I'm sure my CLRI colleagues take view of many of these challenges, and I think it is high time that we set up a center of excellence for finishing our materials, so that we enhance value addition, and thereby the acceptability of many of these things. It's a whole integrated one. Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Shafi.
I would just like to add on to your way forward.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that my colleagues from the industry have touched upon the very critical point about unless our leathers are not available in the hands of those design houses, like Mr. Rao said, we walk in there, we see all over the other materials of the world, except the Indian goat is not at all on the table. It is always bought as a secondary material, like a second option, late option, something like that. It is not bought as a prime first option, the Indian goat leather. Whereas probably an imported sheep leather made in India is much more popular than the very Indian goat leather. That lacuna has to be solved by a think tank like us. We have to sit down and see why should we not bring it to the forefront? Exactly. That is what my point was, starting remark was, how we bring it to the forefront. We are more, our calf leather made in India from Netherlands is much more popular than our own goat skin there. So likewise, we have to see how Indian goat skin can be brought to the design houses, which Mr. Rao said very much. Mr. From Gemini, Mr. I missed your name. Yes, he put the point exactly what is our required. Venkatesan put the points, what are the requirements that we need to, the government has touched upon, and Mr. Zia Nafis has touched upon. So I think all the points are very much on the table. It is a high time that we form this incubator, which I have been telling a long time in CLRI, to have one, a center of excellence, center of creativity. This is a high time that we should do that. And I would like you to put this forward to the director so that we can take it up, the industry can take it up. I can mobilize the industry to meet the director and take it from there.
Sir, I thought, I would highlight, as we set up this center of excellence for design excellence, whatever we call it, should have a truly an international character to it. It is not just, though it is probably would be set up. And I'm sure, we have highlighted this to the DPIIT as well. We said this, and this is while we are setting up some fashion centers and fashion studios in almost all parts of and all the leather sector. And this was also highlighted that especially for improvement of our leather, also it is highlighted. And we did talk to some of the leading chemical houses, especially the LCMA and Stahl and TFL and those kind of people. And they were also readily agreed to help, from their part, to establish the center of excellence where somebody could walk in and I mean, develop their material, especially, I mean, they can bring in and this way we can, even when we tie up with some of the major chemical houses, through them, I mean, we can always bring, I mean, some of the international expertise, I mean, especially the designers can come and work here with us as well. And that's also a possibility. And with some of these things, I once again definitely will make this as a point to CLRI to speed up.
And it can be, Doctor, it can be
the
taken up,
excellence.
not only process, but you can take the promotion policy, all requirements can be seen as a brain, is a think tank. It will be a brain center. It can be formed as a think tank, you know, so how to lead all these areas, you know. Yeah.
Exactly. With this, I mean, remarks, I once again thank all our illustrious, I mean, industrial panelists, and who have enlightened and also put focus on, I mean, the future development and way forward for all of us together. I mean, I only wish we all, I mean, this is only a beginning. I would like to assure this is only a beginning, and we will take it forward and to interact with, I think our CLRI colleagues would be in constant touch through you to several of your other colleagues as well, and in establishing a center of excellence, I mean, to promote, I mean, some of these things, and also at various, I mean, whenever it is required, to give feedback to help the government to establish policies which are progressive and helpful for the development of the sector. I once again
thank a concluding remark from the director, Doctor?
Yes, I mean, I think Dr. Raghav Rao, on behalf of director, I mean, is highlighting, and probably, yes, I mean, he's going to make it. I thought, I mean, before that, I thought, I mean, I thank.
Thank you. Yes, of course. We are.
You are CLRI also to making me as moderator, at least so that I could interact with all of you. Thank you very much.
This was very important.
Dr. Chandru, I think has already, I mean, on behalf of director, has already assured everything. And I, on behalf of director, I think director has set up with some other commitment. So he could not join. Otherwise, I mean, he would have been very happy to give the assurance. I, on behalf of the director, definitely, I mean, I say that we CLRI is for the industry. And it's high time that it's a wonderful topic has been chosen aptly, because we really look forward to take it to a better heights. So that's the reason the topic has been chosen, and we will make it an actionable plan to see that we realize the dreams what we discussed today. So I convey this to my director and see that, I mean, an action plan is taken over, and then a committee is formed, and then we start executing in discussion with all the panel members here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.